you ever drunk Bailey's from a shoe?
All right, welcome in. And if you just viewed our last podcast with the Haas here and the Direwolf, we got out a little bit of our rage about this whole Michigan scandal. So if you want to see our thoughts about all the cheating that made this game become probably the most important game that I can remember, besides maybe 1 versus 2, the game of the century back in the BCS era when that actually meant a trip to the national championship game. You can look at our other video, but we're going to talk more about the game and the X's and O's and the Jimmies and Joes here. And Haas, I'll start with you. Saturday, we go up to Ann Arbor, Michigan, 4-point favorites at the moment. It was 6 just a week ago, but after their very mundane performance, pedestrian performance against a Maryland team that is, the wheels have come off already before they even played them. What do you think that had to have increased your hopes for a victory this Saturday?
Yeah, they definitely haven't been impressing me, especially obviously McCarthy. But I would really, because going throughout the season, we said they probably had the advantage at quarterback, which at the end of the day, that's probably who wins at these games, the big games. The quarterback's going to have to make the big plays. McCarthy had been playing at a Heisman-esque level, not really compared to Bo Nix, but anyways, I'd say he's come back down to McCord's level, and it's pretty much a neutral playing field at quarterback, I'd say. And it's going to be, I think, whatever one of them makes the throw and who doesn't make the untimely error, because I think this game could come down to a key turnover here or there, and McCord hasn't been great in that category. So it's going to be a shaky one to look at the quarterbacks. I think for both fan bases, it's going to be what's our quarterback going to do in the big moment.
Oh, yeah. I think we might have McCord might be an advantage. Maybe not on the road, though, because he's not been that great on the road this year. Direwolf, how you feeling there, buddy? You're the optimist of this group by far. So pour some of that into my veins this week.
Yeah, I'll say I've thought McCarthy's been overrated this entire season. In efficiency standpoint, he's been elite, but they just don't ask him to do a whole lot. He doesn't sling it like McCord does. He doesn't throw. I don't think he's thrown since I've started watching him since this whole cheating thing's happened. I don't think I've seen him throw one ball more than like 25 yards. And is it because all of a sudden they don't know what these defenses are going to call and they don't trust him and they're going to trust their All-American running back, which I get. But yeah, I think McCord, not a whole lot better, but I think he's better than McCarthy. I think he's better than Corum. It's a wash probably, but I think he's better. And then by far, Henderson is better than anybody that they've seen all year, by far better than anybody they have on their team. I think both of our defenses are level. They're equal. So like I've said all year, Marv is going to be the difference maker. I know Minnesota, the way that they played, it was basically just we were taking what they were giving us. It was easy to run on them because they were doubling Marv or they were dropping a safety and all that stuff. But we got to find a way to get them the ball one way or another.
Oh, yeah, Marv and Travion are going to be the keys for they are the offense at this point in the season. Although it was good to see Emeka. We didn't hit on this either on the Michigan State review. Emeka looked like Emeka again on Saturday for the first time maybe in a long time. I didn't think he looked great earlier this year. It looked like something was wrong with him speed-wise. And he had a couple of runs in this game where I'm like, oh, the jukes are back. The speed is back. Maybe that's huge. So we'll start off, though, talking offense versus defense, since we kind of already have our offense versus their defense, the cheaters up north's defense. Now, they are the number one defense in the country statistically. And they have been really good all year, playing against a lot of bad competition, too, and also cheating for the first half of the year. Looked mortal, like Casey said earlier. Looked mortal last week against Maryland. Now, Maryland is a very dynamic offense that is turnover prone, and that's ended up being what was their undoing. But we'll start with Scums up front. Their D tackles, Chris Jenkins especially, nasty. They're not a great pass rush, though. Like they don't get home with just rushing four. They blitz to get home, but they get sacks. But it's not through just 4-man rush. Our O-line, not terrible pass, except for Josh Fryer, like once or twice a game decides to just Ole Widman, here you go, like he did to get McCord almost buried at the end of the first half. But all in all, I think we can hold up against them. That and I feel like the left side of the line, we had another big one in the game. Has had some communication errors where they let somebody through untouched too many times. I don't know if it's that they don't trust Simmons on the left side, because it's usually Donovan Jackson that seems like he goes to help somebody he doesn't need to help. And even though he's the veteran, it feels like he thinks he needs to help somebody is what I'm thinking. Other than that, their defense, their secondary is elite. Their corners, especially Sandstrel and Will Johnson, are both elite players, but are they good enough to shut down Marv? I don't think so. Where do you think we have the advantage? Dyer, I'll start with you on Saturday offensively, or can we get the advantage against a team that doesn't give up much, 9 points a game?
I will say their cockiness, I think, might get in the way. They might think they can go one-on-one against Marv, and that could bite them in the ass. Or if they're doing what Minnesota did and they try to shut him down, I really do trust Trey. And this O-line is improved. I know their D-line is probably the best that we'll have seen all year. Penn State's D-line might be better. They got some dudes there. But I think, obviously, Marv, but I honestly am more confident in us winning because of Trey. I think he's hot right now. I think that's going to be the difference. And I think we'll know early, right? We're going to know in the first quarter if we're getting pushed.
Yeah. Haas, do you think that Trey, the linebackers aren't bad either, though, but the passing game also, Trey has been big lately, especially as an outlet for McCord. Do you think we get a little bit creative, I guess? I mean, I said earlier, I think Day's a great game planner, and this game has to be – he needs to have his coup de grace here.
What's worried me at times with McCord, and going into Casey's point, is Marv being his X factor, is when McCord, him being teammates, he zones in on him a lot. And he always looks for him. He's obviously the number one read on a lot of plays, but Michigan can use that to their advantage and try to jump routes, try to maybe fool them with coverages, because they're very well coached. At the end of the day, like, Harbaugh's very good. They've always had a good defensive game plan. My X factor, and when we were in down against Notre Dame, who stepped up and made plays on that drive? Emeka Egbuka. I think that when he's healthy, he's finally healthy, I think that's the perfect complement to Marv, and to take some pressure off that side of the field. My dad would love me to give a shout out to Cade Stover, because he's going to be what's going to loosen up over the middle. But Emeka Egbuka, to me, is what's going to he's the chain mover. Marvin can be the big play guy, or be the guy when, game's on the line maybe, but I think Emeka is going to be who McCord's going to need to look to and throw the defense off to.
Yeah, Cade may be more of a protector of this game, I feel like. I mean, yes. I don't know, because they haven't done that always in big games. Like, he was a key part of the Penn State game and part of the Notre Dame game. But I just feel like the ball needs to be in three guys' hands on offense most of the time. Marv, Emeka, and Trey. That's it. That's who's going to win us this game. Everybody else is not an advantage. Like last year on fourth down, we go to Stover on the seam. I mean, not a great throw, hard catch, but not like it's one he's got to make. Or you need to throw at somebody who can make the hard catch. Yeah. And that was a huge part in that first half why we weren't up more points, was because of that miss. It's gonna be something that is gonna be interesting to see if we use Hayden more too as well. Like, do we bring him up to keep Trey somewhat fresh, or are we gonna just see all train him in there in passing situations to block? I hope not.
Yeah. I will say, just to say one more thing, a key is going to be Day not overthinking himself. If we got 3 points in the bag, take that shit. If it's 4th and 1 on our 44-yard line, don't go for it. Punt it.
Dude, we almost had more of that crap going on this weekend with the Washington game, and Mario Cristobal doing what the hell he's doing. Like, that was a Day move by him, to be honest, at the end of their game. If you didn't see it, that he calls a timeout on 4th and 3 to drop a stupid fade. Burning one of their timeouts, they needed to be able to keep the clock and give themselves a chance to win at the end, but they don't have enough timeouts to really give themselves a legit shot, because he called a timeout to throw a fade with 10 seconds left on the play clock, mind you.
Yeah. I think Day, he's got to get out of his own way and just let the players play the game and win the game. He's got to be dynamic. Like I said, take the freaking points. We've been saying that all year long. Punt the ball when you need to, but it's gonna be points gonna be hard to come by. Maybe I don't know. You said earlier this week it could be a high scoring game. I said that with the Penn State game, so I'm gonna bite my words and go the other way. And it's probably gonna be like a 13-7 ball game.
Okay, I was just gonna say, how many points do we score on offense since we're talking about our offense this week?
20.
Jason?
Man, I think we got to score more than 13. I think we have to score 24 to win this game.
I say 29 because we do a stupid 2-point conversion, but we hit it at some point in the game. Maybe it's just to rub it in at the end. All right, other side of the ball, though. Our defense versus their offense. Their offense, middling, right at like 400 yards per game. Their running game, not what it's been the past 2 years where they've totally dominated. Is that the play? Is that the shine stealing? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. I think their line's just not as good as it was. They showed some push at times against Maryland, but they end up with 3.3 yards per carry against freaking Maryland. Casey, you have felt a certain way about this game in our defense, and I'll let you start out on what you think our defense is able to do against them on Saturday.
I think McCarthy has been just completely overrated the entire season. We cannot let them do what they did against Penn State when they are holding on to a lead. They're like, screw it. Our defense is going to hold them. We're just going to run it literally 30 times in a row. We can't let that happen. We need to make them throw the ball because I don't think they can on us. That's our strength. We're like one of the best teams in the entire country at pass defense. We're really good at run defense too, but our strength is pass D. But their strength is running the ball. And that's what they do all day long. They don't care if they get 3 yards in 2nd and 7 and 3rd and 4 and then 4th and 1, they'll freaking go for it and get it. But we've been bend don't break all year. Once it gets tight in that red zone, I think we hold them to field goals. But I don't think they're scoring more than 1 touchdown.
That would be impressive. Yeah, like a good point you made there. And what I'm worried about is that they, like you said, they will just run the ball. 4 times. If Harbaugh gives them the directive to go for it on 4th down, 4 times at 3 yards a pop, 3.3 a pop, that's first down every time. And Corum, I don't like his stats are way down this year from a yards per carry point of view, but he has 20 touchdowns. So I remember earlier. Maybe it was last week that you said that you thought we had the advantage in the Travion versus Corum. And I'm like, I think they're about even because they both do kind of what they need to do for their offense. He's there to just keep the clock going and the chains moving, and he does it well. He's really tough to stop because he's short and has a good sense of where to go and strong, that type of stuff. And he finishes, obviously. 20 touchdowns, leads the country. They'll be okay with that. But part of their running game has always relied on not just the dominant offensive line, but that McCarthy's a good runner. And he had 2 carries for -7 yards last week. He seems hobbled a bit. Looked that way in the Penn State game as well. He got hobbled in that game. It could be a key factor to help us. So, Jason, Casey said he can't throw it. We think our secondary matches up well. Roman Wilson also got knocked out of the Maryland game.
He's hurt.
Maybe a concussion. That would be it, right?
Yeah. I thought it was an ankle injury.
Was it?
Yeah.
He got the potential targeting call, and then he was out. That's why I thought that. But
Watching them against Penn State and Maryland, they run 7 offensive linemen a lot. Mm-hmm. And with our small SD tackles, I think this game will come down to them getting off and shucking those blocks and being able to stop them against these 7-down linemen. And I've kind of wondered to myself, maybe we almost will have to go to a 4-3 because maybe we bring in Simon, maybe we put him in there too to kind of, but then you got to worry about when they get the edge there. I'm not too confident in our corners being able to contain, and I like to have that nickel back out there, but that's going to be where having Jim Knowles is going to be just seeing what adjustments he needs to make because their 7 linemen are huge and they'll like you said, they're gonna take 3 yards, 4 yards. They'll take that shit and just go for it on 4th down. They're fine with that. So I think it comes down to the D tackles and getting up the middle and stopping that run. That's where I think the game will be won or lost.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Go ahead.
You're usually on top of this. I think one of their O linemen got hurt in that Maryland game.
He did. So they may be down a lineman. Their line hasn't been as good as they won the Joe Moore Award for best line the last 2 years. They have not been nearly that good this year. McCarthy reminds me a lot of the old Penn State quarterbacks, the Trace McSorley and Clifford, where he's like a good runner but not a great runner at all, and he's not going to run all over a good defense. And he's a good passer, like in certain situations, but he's turnover waiting to happen. Like I was texting you, he ended up throwing one pick. It's only his 4th of the year, I believe, against Maryland with 0 touchdowns. But he also threw 2 of his first 4 passes should have been picks that were dropped by the defense. He does not make good. Like if the play doesn't go according to plan, he does not make good decisions. We saw this last year too, and like he's gotten so much hype basically off of our game, where he didn't even make that many big throws. And now we know that he probably knew that the blitzes were coming, so he knew like where the hot read would be and everything before the play even happened. He doesn't know that anymore. And I thought last year, a lot of people shit on Knowles because of the way that game went and all the big plays that went led up. I thought the game plan was appropriate. We forced 4 3-and-outs in the first half, which is really good. The plays that we failed miserably, but it's also could be, again, that they just knew it was coming, but it was a bad play by us. Like we tackled poorly or just totally blew an assignment and one of those deep balls. This year, I think the same game plan, he's been very conservative. I'd like to see the aggressive game plan of like, we're going to stop your run. You're going to try to beat us in these one-on-one situations. And this year, Denzel Burke's playing like an all-conference player, maybe all-American player when he's been healthy. Igbinison, like he's fine. He's good. He may get a couple penalties for us this game, I feel like. But I think that's a chance I'm willing to take. What do you think, Haas?
Yeah, like you're gonna have to stop the run. That's your first priority when you're facing them, and you almost have to do like you said, do whatever it takes. Be aggressive. If you have to put 8 guys in the box, you have to put 8 guys in the box. Don't worry about their tight end beating you. Just play man up on the sides. If they beat you, they beat you. Like at the end of the day, you're gonna get either beat on the outside or beat on the inside. And you got to pick your poison, and I don't think we can get beat on the outside. I don't think they're good enough to beat us on the outside. So I'd like us to stack the box and make them play what we want to play. And I think you're going to have to just do everything you can to stop the run.
What about a 4-3 with Sonny Styles in the box as more of a 4-4? We bring in the 3 linebackers and Sonny Styles. I mean, I like our matchup there. We have so much speed. Yeah. But right, the small D tackles would worry me.
Yeah, small D tackles, but that's not a bad idea to put Sonny and Still Chambers on the outside and almost put them out there in the flats to kind of cut that off and blow them. That's not bad. And we'll see what it takes. That's what I would do. But at the end of the day, they'll probably do something different. But yeah, because I don't think it's enough up the middle to have Steele and Eichenberg. I don't think it's going to be enough to have 2 linebackers there in the box. I think you're going to have to bring somebody up or put a 3rd linebacker in.
Mm-hmm.
I see it a little different than you guys are saying, just because I feel like Knowles got judged by basically 2 games last year when we were giving up massive explosive plays, and these completely changed his philosophy. So in my opinion, I don't want him to change it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing. Now, if it's not working, the conservative thing, and they drive right down the field and score a touchdown, then maybe then. But I don't want us. If we lose in the same fashion because of our aggressiveness this year, I'm going to be inconsolable.
Well, they haven't shown the big play, especially like Donovan Edwards has been MIA this year. My counter to that would be, Casey, for us is the second half of the Notre Dame game when we pretty much got ran on at will until the last drive, and most of the Rutgers game, which they pretty much ran the ball at will on us. And it was the short chunks, like they were taking it 3 yards, 4 yards, and just pound. Oh, here comes 7, first down. That's what got us. I think we can be got that way. Yes. I really do. Because it's mainly a size issue up front, like Jason said, that we just we're not deep, or we haven't been playing like we're deep, I guess. And maybe we see more of a rotation this game, but I kind of doubt it. So I think we can be got if they do stick to that game plan, if we don't get them out. And I think we need to get out ahead.
Yes.
We need to get them out of that game plan. So if we have to be aggressive to do that early on, like I said, it was working last year besides those 2 big plays in the first half. First half, we shut them down besides those 2 big plays, but those 2 big plays happened.
Like, it's just a straight up numbers game at that point. They're going to have 7 linemen or maybe they'll have 2 tight ends. They're going to have more guys in the box it's not enough having 4-2. I think you have to change it up. But yeah, like last year, we've talked about this, Matt, where it was on. Like I said it all year long last year. I didn't think our defense was that good, and then towards the end of the stretch, they got pieced up and they got tore up. I think we're better this year. I think our defense is legit. I think we're good, but you have to look at who we've played, and I don't think we've played great. Just like Michigan. Don't get me wrong, they haven't played jack squad either, but they know who they are, and they're going to stick to that run game. And I think that's why we need to kind of change to it and make sure they don't take advantage of us being able to just not get off the field on the running game.
Yeah. All right. So all this said, it's like we did with the offense. How many points does Michigan score in this matchup with our defense on Saturday? Dyer, I'll start with you.
10.
10. All right. Haas, did we lose you? I think we did. Haas will say 17, I guess.
I said 16.
Say, okay, Go ahead. You said 16?
Yeah.
Man, I'm good. See, I was in your brain. I'm going to go with 20. And I think this game, when I said the 2-point conversion, I think we're 21-20. We score towards the end of the game, and Day gets reckless to just put the ice on it and goes for 2 to make it a 9-point game, put it out of reach. And
I'll be pissed if he does that. Don't tell me, don't do that. I'll be like, what the hell's he doing?
So pissed off.
Hey, all I keep hearing from all the internet people is, oh, it's a good idea unless it fails.
Pretty much.
The numbers say to do it.
Oh man, you should go for 2 in the second quarter of a game that already has 6 scores in it, because you'll never get another chance to score. Okay, so the line is Michigan -4. I think all of us here have all of us have a victory here for Ohio State. I have 29-20. Casey, you have, what was your score?
20-10.
Jason?
24-16.
24-16. So that means we all have, obviously, Ohio State to cover. I have the over, because I think I'm zigging where everybody's zagging here. The over under 47 is kind of a weird number, and I think they kind of want you to take the under, because all the Big Ten games have been under all year. The average score in the Michigan games have been 47 combined points, which is right where it's at, but ours have only been 43, so you'd think it'd be like 45 and not 47. This is not like ballsy pick, but it's kind of giving me a hint that they want you to take the under, and that both these we're the top 2 scoring defenses in the country. We both give up 9 points a game. If we outscore them by more than 4, we will end up the number 1 scoring defense in the country, by the way. So let's take that from them too. Let's just rip everything that we can out of their freaking hands, like those cheaters did to us through cheating. But we're not going to do it through cheating. We're going to do it the real way. All right. Anything else anybody would like to add real quick here that starts with F and ends with Uck, Michigan?
Fuck Michigan, baby. I don't like to say their name, but I will.
Okay.
In that.
Us?
Fuck Michigan. Fuck them.
Fuck Michigan. And we will see you guys next time.
Hey guys! Whoa, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.
A rich man's world.